Hello guys, welcome to another of our video tutorial, and today we'll be talking about accessing an array. Okay, so we've talked about an array in so many of our tutorials, especially when we were talking about matplotlib and all of that. And we've also talked about an array in a different class, but today we're going to talk about how we can access the data in the array. Okay, so first of all, you import the necessary modules like I always told you. All right, so let's go ahead as we move along. Okay guys, so we've created the necessary array, and this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to see how we can make use of each of these data, each of these character in the array. That is what it means to access the array. So we're going to be using a method called slicing. So if you want to access any of these data inside, or any of these character inside this array, we'll use a method called slicing. So we're going to show you how to do that. First of all, let's see how we can print the entire array. Okay, so we print the array and see what happens. This is empty. So our array is successfully printed 1 to 7, as you can see. Okay, so we're going to access each of these arrays, each of these data inside the array. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to create another variable. Let's say b, and we say equal to, then the name of the array and square brackets. Then we use index. Each of these character has an index. The first one there has an index of 0, like you know if you have been in my class, in my beginners class. The second one there is 1, it's having an index of 1. The third one, the third character, is having an index of 2. Okay, so we are going to access each of them using their indices. So the first thing we are going to do is using 0. 0 is the index of the first character, which is 1. So if we are to print the b, we should be expecting 1. Okay, so like you can see here, 1 is printed. If you want to access the character 4 here, that means you have to start from 0, 1, 2, 3. That means your index here is going to be 3. You run your code, you have 4. Okay. What about if you want to print more than one character? Let's assume you want to print from 1 to 3 and you don't want to include 4, 5, 6 to 7. Okay, so what you will do is you start from the first one, which is 0, then colon. When you put your colon, it means you're slicing. You want to take from a certain place to a certain place. So since you want to include 3 but not 4, what you will do is 0, 1, 2, 3. So the last number which is not going to be printed will be 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, which is the fourth one, but it will not be printed. So we include it here, 0, 1, 2, 3, so that it will print 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so when you run your code, you're going to have 1 to 3. Like you can see here, the fourth one is usually not printed out, as you know in my initial class. The last index in the slicing is always not printed out. Okay, so if you want to print everything that you have there, maybe starting from 3, all right, so you go to the first index and count from 0. 0, 1, 2. That means 3 starts from index 2, right? So you put that and put your colon. Then the second thing to do or to note is that when you are actually slicing from a certain number to a certain number, to the end of the line rather, you don't need to put any other number at the end of your colon. since you've marked where you're supposed to start from, so you just put that 2 and run your code, and it will print everything starting from where you have indicated to the last letter or to the last character. Alright, so this is how you go about accessing the data in the array. Okay, let's assume you want to print everything, but you want to start from the end. Okay, you want to start from the end. What you will do is to use double colon, then you use a negative of the last number, -1. Okay, so this is -1 here. If you run that, see that the data has started from the last one to the first one, from 7 to 1. Alright, so if you want to do that, this is the sliding method you use. Okay, but if you want to just get the last number, only just the last number, which in this case is 7, you use just 1 colon, then -1. So whenever you see minus, it indicates you're starting from the end. So -1 means the last number, -2 means the number before the last number. Okay, so you go ahead and run your code. You're expecting the number from 1 to 6, excluding the last one, like I told you. Okay, so that is how you go about printing out your what is it called, your data in your data array format. And secondly, I also want to let you know that if you want to print out, let's assume you want to print out the entire number from 0 to, let's say okay, let me just show you something. Let's assume you want to print from 0 to the last one and you don't want to use an indicator. Just adding your colon inside your square bracket has already told the interpreter you are printing from the very first one to the last one. So when you run this code, you're expecting to see all of your data printed out, like you can see here. Okay, so if you want to get from the positive to the negative, you start from index 0, index 1, index 2. So index 0 indicates the first character here, which is 1. Index 1 indicates the second character here, which is 2. So index -1 indicates the last one, which is 7. Index -2 is the second one before the last one, which is 6 here. Okay, so if you want to access the numbers using negative index, that means you're getting the numbers from the very end towards the first. If you're starting from the positive index, you're starting from the first one to the last one. Okay, so that is how you go about accessing arrays accessing data in their various arrays. Okay, so the next class I'm going to be teaching you will have to be how to differentiate between an array and a list. There are so many differences between the array and the list. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you that in the next class. See you there. Take care.